Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So today I'm going to do a short little book review on the book The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. I have a lot of thoughts on this one, so I thought why not just make a whole video dedicated to it. So this is a nonfiction book where John Green is reviewing things and concepts from the Anthropocene, and the Anthropocene is kind of the era of time right now where humans are like the main species on the planet, or like centered around us. And in this book, basically each chapter is divided into a different topic. So Canada geese, velociraptors, Diet Dr. Pepper, air conditioning, hot dog eating contests, like all of these super random objects and things that are typically from like the Anthropocene, plagues and things that we relate to in our daily life. And it's a weird book because he's like rating things, like star rating all these chapters after he's talked about his emotional connection to these things and some thoughts and reflections that these things brings out in him. Then he gives them a star rating at the end. And it's kind of like an ironic joke because star ratings are actually a way for computers to be able to understand and rank and advertise our experience with something, and humans are intelligent enough to write full reviews, but star ratings are actually for, computers, not actual humans, which I thought was kind of funny. I'll start off with saying that I gave this 2.25 stars on Storygraph. I wasn't a huge fan of this book, mainly because it doesn't really have like an idea or concept. Like, it's very much John Green wanted to write about these things that he's interested in. He wanted to dive into these different topics, and this was a way for him to do it and still kind of create this concept of reviewing humanity in our life right now through these like everyday simple objects or things that we do experience, which I guess is like the best way this concept possibly could have. Oh, there's a massive spider in the corner. Shit. Move on, Wilma. So this was a smart way, I think, for him to voice those opinions in a way that sort of makes sense. But I think my main issue with this is just that it was so disappointing. Like, I thought he would talk about certain things. I thought it would be different. And so I think my expectations and the ideas I created in my head were so different from what this actually was that I couldn't like enjoy it like I thought I would. This is a very subjective review, and if you're looking for an objective review, it doesn't exist, so you can forget about it. John Green kind of does this thing where he reads into like all these situations. He makes metaphors and creates stories and interprets like things from everyday stuff or like all these topics that he talks about. And I think like right now I'm very happy in my life, and so when I read things that are like very like internalized and like overthought, I'm like, you're just making up things. Like, I understand that it's all about like the thought process that John Green goes through when he discovers and learns things about all these topics. But it's just like, can I call you John? John, it's not that deep, okay? I just feel like I kind of hate when it was a little bit pretentious, to be honest. And I feel like I judge people a lot when other people call things pretentious, but I think it's a little bit pretentious. You can judge me now. I just didn't like it. I thought it was really boring, and if I didn't listen to this on an audiobook, I probably wouldn't have got through it. And honestly, I don't really know who's the audience for this book because it covers such a wide array of topics that it's like, unless you're John Green, this book can't possibly 100% be for you. But maybe he did write it for himself, which I think is perfectly fine and valid. I don't think any author asks for their stuff to be read and loved, but I think any type of art is mostly for the creator rather than the audience. You can disagree on that. The audiobook is written by John Green himself, which I guess I liked, but he was like talking about it like very serious, and like everything had a very deep meaning. And it was just like, I thought it was so funny at times because he does talk about like very silly stuff sometimes too, and has some deeper reflections. I did feel like the deeper reflections didn't go as deep as I wanted to. I kind of a little bit despise deep reflections that only touches the surface because it doesn't actually like bring anything new to the conversation in a way. That's just my opinion of this book. Why does my hair look flat like right here in the middle? Stop doing that. I also want to point out that the audiobook has 2 extra chapters. So I don't know if that's because my copy of this is different, like it's lacking somehow, like it's not complete in some way. It was a what are called misproduction, a bad copy, or because there's 2 extra chapters in the audiobook just for fun. But I do recommend the audiobook if you want to read this. I cannot even imagine like sitting down and getting all of this through, like with all these topics. I thought it was very boring, very boring. And I wasn't interested in, I'm not interested in most of the things that he talks about. I do want to point out my favorite chapters though, because there are things in this that I did actually like. And the first one is air conditioning. I really like this chapter. I would give that chapter 5 stars. I wanted to make a video of like me reviewing John Green, reviewing all these things and give like star ratings to like his star ratings. But I'm like, Wilma, stop, please. Air conditioning chapter, I give this 5 stars. Then I also really liked the Kentucky bluegrass, because there is some reflection on like how stupid lawns are and how pointless they are, which I really enjoyed. And I also enjoyed Monopoly, where he goes into the history of Monopoly and talks about who actually invented Monopoly and how it's like the whole backstory is quite ironic, because the person who created Monopoly was against Monopoly as a concept and our like capitalist society, but then someone else capitalized on that idea and took away her ideas from that. So I like that chapter a lot. Otherwise, the other ones were like 1 and 2 stars. There were some very basic things that me and John Green just disagreed on. We think very differently, and I just didn't enjoy it in general. So that's my review of The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. I would love to hear your opinion though, especially if you liked it. I would like to, oh, Trump just did a flop. That was so cute. Just trust me on it. So thank you for listening to my review and my negative opinions on it. I just had a lot of thoughts and I'm very curious to hear what other people think about it. So please talk to me in the comments on what you thought. And if you made it to the end of this video, add a little orange heart down below. I will talk with all of you soon. Bye!